What's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. And guess what, folks? We are at the midpoint of the U.S. Open, folks. Man, we have had such an incredible time being in New York. It has been outstanding. Bryce, how you feeling, my man?
Although we've been to the U.S. Open several times.
Yes.
This has probably been my favorite trip to the U.S. Open thus far. Mm-hmm. And I think that's for a variety of reasons, right? I think, number one, the matches have been incredible. Number two, our favorites pretty much have done, really well.
That's right.
We had the whole launch of Brothers on Tennis. The weather was good.
It's been wonderful, right?
The weather has been
Come on.
great.
Oh.
And I don't know, it's just been a really, really enjoyable time. So, hey, this is awesome. I'm already looking forward to the U.S. Open for next year.
Right? We are already booking plans for 2020, folks. And let's be clear, folks, we just launched. And I mean, talk about having just a wonderful launch. We've been around the grounds and really tried to get the word out about Brothers on Tennis, and it has just been so well received. And so we first of all just want to thank everybody out there, thank all of you listeners. It has just been a wonderful, wonderful launch, and I personally am extremely happy, and I feel as though it at least exceeded my expectations. But how are you feeling, Bryce?
Well, and I just want the listeners to understand what launch meant for us, right? So in terms of the launch, we have launched our webpage, www.brothersoontennis.com, and that's BRUTHAS on tennis.com. And really, that's your one-stop shop for us. If you go to the website, you'll always have the latest episode we've recorded on the homepage. You will also have a drop-down menu to read bios and actually see some pics of Isaac and myself. We have the whole channel or the whole catalog of archived episodes we did during the pilot phase. So you can go back and listen to when we were first getting started. And then also we have a contact us menu there. So you're able to go there, give us your information, send us a message, send us an email, and you have access to all of the various channels that our podcast is being hosted on.
Right.
So that went live on Monday, August the 26th, and we really became open to the public to kind of share that launch type of experience in person. What we did is while we were on site with the U.S. Open, we were wearing, like Isaac said, merchandise, right?
Yes.
So we had Brothers on Tennis hats,
Yes,
sweatshirts, t-shirts, polos, and I tell you what, I personally was very surprised at the amount of attention and looks and that we got. I mean, numerous times we had people taking pictures of the back of our shirt, and it just very, I mean, even to the point where we got stopped by Patrick McEnroe on the grounds and said, "Hey guys, I really like, your shirt."
Yes.
We were passing out postcards, if you will, that had information on Brothers on Tennis and how, people could find us online. So we're off and rolling now.
Yeah. I mean, we have definitely gotten out there, and I was just so pleasantly surprised and encouraged by the level of feedback that we got on our merch, man. It's like everybody either was looking at the shirt and they give you a smile, they give you a wink. I mean, it was always a conversational piece. So we talked to a ton of people while we were on the grounds. And we were actually on the grounds physically Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I mean, we were there the entire time. And it just seemed like there were so many wonderful people that we encountered and had discussions with. And it was just wonderful. And that's one of the things that we want to kind of start talking about as well, is just some of the people that we encountered. And I'll first of all just say, unfortunately, we won't be able to mention everyone that we met. And we met some outstanding people. So everyone that we came into contact with who's listening to this episode, we want to thank you personally just for engaging with us, the great discussions, the talk about tennis. I mean, we had some, again, wonderful conversation. But there are a couple of people that we just want to make sure that we take a moment to just kind of talk about a little bit. first and foremost, while we were at the newly unveiled Althea Gibson statue, we ended up running into Miss Zena Garrison. And for those of you who don't know, Zena Garrison was a former WTA player. She is African American. And I mean, Zena is one of the folks who made a name in the sport back in her day. And we actually met her. She saw our merch. We talked about what we were doing, and she was absolutely ecstatic. She was excited and said, "You know what? We've been looking for something like this for a long time." Man, talk about feeling encouraged. Bryce, how did that encounter impact you?
Well, I had a couple different feelings with that because number one, Zena Garrison was the African American player of note when I was coming up. She was the kind of person that looked like me when I first started playing tennis, and I was out there and was really doing it. So there was kind of like a personal thing there to actually be like, I'm here with Zena Garrison, the Zena Garrison, the one that played Martina Navratilova in the Wimbledon final. Right. But the thing that she said to me that really kind of stuck with me the entire day is when she said to us, I want to be a guest on your show. And when she said, and listeners, it's one thing for you to go and to ask someone to be on your show. Right. But when someone comes to you and says, and actually volunteers and says, I want to be on your show, it just gives you that really feel-good feeling on the inside because that tells you you're on the right path.
That's exactly right. Oh, so good. That interaction was so wonderful. So Zena, we hope you're listening and know that we are going to be making contact, and we are definitely going to have you on a future episode. Another encounter that we had, and Bryce, I kind of want you to talk about this one because it's with a historian, and it was just hilarious how it came up because, like we were talking about earlier with our merchandise, there was someone that was actually taking a picture of the back of my shirt when the encounter started.
Right.
So I'll let you
exactly that. We were in the food court area, and Isaac was talking to some other people about the podcast, and I noticed that there was this lady behind him taking a picture of the back of his shirt. Now, to understand what we had on the back of the shirt is we had the website address, and we had all the different platforms like iTunes and Google Play and all of that where the podcast can be found. And so I decided to go up to her, and her name was Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
If you're out there listening. And just to kind of introduce myself, and she was apparently interested. And she then connected us to Lenny Simpson. And I don't want to go too deep into Lenny's story because we're going to actually do a separate episode on him and the whole One Love Foundation they have going on. But you're talking about history. I mean, this guy was for many years the youngest guy to ever play at the U.S. Open. Made it to the second round. I mean, he was 15 years old.
And played Arthur Ashe.
And he came up in that community where one of his first coaches was Althea Gibson.
Yes.
And so we sat and probably talked to him for a half hour. And you know when you get that kind of goosebump feeling when you know you're in the presence of history?
Yes.
And to hear, once again, someone like him say, wow, what you guys are doing is really great. Hopefully we can work together on some stuff down the road. So, I mean, and I think we met him on the same day we met Zena.
Exactly.
And,
it was overwhelming.
Yes, we were on top of the world.
Oh, my goodness. Like I said, such a great day.
Right. But you will hear, like Isaac was saying, we plan to have an episode where we have Zena Garrison on as a guest. We plan to have an episode where we give you the background of blacks in tennis, African Americans in tennis.
Yes.
And Lenny Simpson's story. And maybe we'll even have Lenny on the podcast. Yeah. But not only that, we met some people who were even a little more current in the game. Right. When we were at Taylor Townsend's match, we met Mark Eubanks, who is the brother of Chris Eubanks. Yep. Just one of the really up-and-coming top African-American males in tennis. And he was just so nice. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mark. We were so excited to see that he had subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that was another good connection.
Thanks, Mark.
But Isaac, you even had some interactions with some coaches.
International, that's right.
There you go.
We actually went international with our merch. And so one of the things, when we were actually watching the Kyrgios Stevie Johnson match, I happened to be sitting next to a young man who was out of London. And turns out he was a coach. Coach David. Hey, Coach. Just a nice young man. He was out in New York for the first time. He and his mom, which was so wonderful. And he is a coach out in the London area. He has some younger players that he's been coaching for, I believe he said, around 5 to 7 years. And you know, he's someone that I definitely want to talk with more and really understand from a coaching perspective their role in this whole game. So Bryce and I were talking, and again, another special episode that we'd like to pursue is just kind of talking to coaches and getting their perspective. But yeah, Coach David, it was a pleasure meeting you, and we're connected. And like I said, hopefully once we get over to Wimbledon 2021, we will have established a really strong rapport, and we can do some bigger things there. So we did meet Coach David, and then we also met another coach from the stage, and it was Coach Daniel from the Atlanta area. And Coach Daniel, once again, just doing things with junior tennis and in the Atlanta area, and just really great meeting him and wanting to, again, just look into that path of a coach and what they do, what they provide. So we're definitely going to be reaching out to Coach Daniel to learn more about what he's involved with, and again, do more things with Brothers on Tennis. So Coach Daniel, what's up, man? It was awesome meeting you.
It was,
and we look forward to working with you a little bit more. So Bryce, anything on the coaches or?
No, just I think it's a different dimension to bring into the game. So I like the fact that we're approaching this from the professional level, from the player level, from the coaching level, from the entertainment level. That's we're giving it to you guys. Full 360 view of tennis. So. We could talk about our experiences all day, but we just wanted to give you a few highlights and to know that we plan to continue this. We plan to go to the Australian Open. We plan to go to Indian Wells. Yes. We plan to go to the French Open. We plan to go to the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. So we're going to be out there.
That's right. We're going to be out there. And just a heads up, because we got this question a lot, which is, again, something that Bryce alluded to on the merchandising standpoint. We will, in the future, have the merchandise available. I mean, I can't even comment on how much feedback we received on our merchandise. And for the folks who have gone and seen our website, I mean, it's a pretty simple logo, but at the same time, it's strong. Brothers on Tennis, that is a strong message.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people felt that as we were walking around the grounds. So, and I mean, and that's what we got. They were like, ooh, them hats are strong, man. They're strong, And so folks definitely know that we will be making merchandise available in the near future. So that's one of our phase 2 goals as we our post-launch. Right. So just know that we're gonna be coming at you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if that was about, our launch and our presence at the Billie Jean King Tennis Center, what else was going on during the tournament was what we call some black girl magic.
Black girl magic.
And we just want to take a few minutes to just highlight some of the outstanding tennis that has been played by some of our women of color this week. And I'm going to start off with one of our queens, Miss Venus Williams. We were at her first round match where she was playing Zhang Sai. Y'all, I don't even know how to tell you. I've been watching Venus Williams play really since she started. And that first round match that she played was one of the best matches I have ever seen Venus play. She was moving around the court well. She was hitting the ball well. She was being very aggressive, but it was a controlled aggression, right? She was not making a lot of unforced errors, and we know our girl Venus can sometimes, rack those up. And she just absolutely put the smack. How often have you heard of Venus Williams giving somebody a breadstick and a bagel?
Not often.
It just doesn't happen, right?
No.
And she beat that girl like she stole something, and it was just an amazing performance to watch. Unfortunately, because Venus is not seated, and because Venus, just kind of gets thrown in the draw there, she unfortunately had to meet Svitolina in the second round. And although she didn't play horribly in that match, that was a tough out for her.
A tough out.
And Svitolina is still in the tournament right now. But I really hope that Venus that we saw in the first round, if we see more of that for the rest of this year, and especially next year going into people trying to secure their spots on the Olympic team.
Yes.
Oh, Venus should be able to absolutely be there.
I agree.
At 39 years of age.
I completely agree with you, Bryce. I mean, she played outstanding tennis that first round. And let's not forget, folks, that the person she played, Zhang Sai, actually won a tournament against Sabalenka earlier this summer. So it wasn't like this was a gimme match. This is a title holder from the summer. And so for the fact that she was able to play her, beat her soundly, one in love, breadstick bagel, that speaks volumes to how Venus played in that match.
Yes.
And like Bryce said, hopefully the Queen will be able to carry that forward through the rest of this year. So it's just exciting. So Venus, hope you're listening. Keep doing what you're doing, because that was a wonderful match. And again, Svitolina, she's a tough one. And I know that you've had, rough times with her in the past. So, just we'll keep working through that one.
Right. And as much as I loved watching that match and as excited as I'm always am about Venus Williams, the one that has just taken it for me this tournament is Miss Taylor Townsend.
Listen.
And let me, we went and watched Taylor's first match against Kozlova.
Yes.
And Taylor, she lost the first set, and she looked like she was playing kind of tentatively. Right. And then Isaac left to go watch somebody else, and she started playing really well.
That is true.
But no, she came back really strong, and the second and third set, she was really putting some length in her ground strokes, and it was a good win. So we were like, okay, Taylor made it out of the first round. Mm-hmm. We had no idea that we were going to see in that next round. We were and Taylor, we love you. Hopefully you feel the love.
Yes.
But when we saw that you had Simona Halep in the second round, we were like, hopefully she has a good showing. But, Halep just won Wimbledon. We saw what she did to Serena.
Right. But you know what? Apparently, Taylor saw what she did to Serena as well.
Exactly. And I tell you what, I've told you listeners time and time again, for me, the women tennis player that it's just my heart, that I love from my childhood days is Martina Navratilova.
Yes.
Taylor Townsend in that match against Simona Halep, and in the follow-up match against Kristeva yesterday, she looked like a black Martina Navratilova to me.
Yes, she did.
To get to the net in a 3-set match 106 times, and in a 2-set match 75 times, and to have a winning percentage at the net, to have people like to sometimes say, our girl's a little thick, but I don't know if people know the conditioning you have to have to be able to go to the net time and time again like that and actually be proficient up there. I know if I go up to the net about 5 or 6 times, I'm done.
I'm tired, bro.
Right?
I'm breathing heavy.
And I just, we're hoping and we're thinking we may be seeing a turn with Taylor right now. Because the way she's playing right now, what is she ranked right now? She's in the
hundreds, yeah.
She's playing like a top 40 player.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Top
right
40,
now.
top 20. Because with that game style, Bryce, as we've said, as the commentators have said, that is a game style that's no longer out there being played. They don't have serve and volleyers.
Nope.
So a lot of the ladies they just don't know what to do when they're faced with that game. And that's exactly what you saw with Halep.
Right.
She was off her rhythm. She didn't know how to pass her. And it was like, everything in Taylor's game was popping.
Yes.
Popping. Her volleys were popping. Her overhead was strong.
Oh, her overhead game is strong.
Overhead game strong.
Overhead game is real strong. And her return to serve.
Return to serve. She got more confident as she was like, okay, if I'm gonna go to the net, then hey, I'll just go ahead and pound on some return to serves. And she was even getting winners off the return to serve.
Absolutely.
It's her play is beautiful right now.
She's
doing what she should have been doing her entire career, in my opinion, because she has a level of feel that not a lot of players have. You got to have that feel at the net, and Taylor's always had great hands. People have always said that.
Right.
It's just finding the combination, and like you said, Bryce, I literally am praying. I'm saying a prayer for my girl Taylor that she takes this and uses this as a stepping stone to move forward in her career.
I agree, and she has another challenge in front of her. She's playing Bianca Andreescu next, who is one of our favorites, in this kind of next gen of the women's tour. And but exactly what you're saying, right? We don't know how Andreescu is going to play against someone who has such an unrelenting attacking style like Taylor Townsend. So between that first round match of Venus and what Taylor has done thus far in the tournament, that black girl magic is shining bright.
It's shining brightly. And there's still more black girl magic to come because, the one thing that we actually haven't talked about is what set the whole tournament off.
Yes.
And that was Miss Serena Williams, the queen, against Maria Sharapova. And once again, Serena she played Serena ball. She came out and she was like, Maria, I ain't scared of you.
Right.
I done brought my Vaseline, and apparently you didn't, and I'm going to swing out on you. And I'm sorry, Serena just absolutely just dismantled her. And again, it was just Serena ball. She came out, she played strong, and she got the victory. And to me, she set off the whole black girl movement for this tournament.
She did. And I actually wish there was some way that Serena could play Sharapova in the first round of all of her tournaments because I think that would get her going.
That gets her going because she comes out focused. She knows. And like I said, Bryce, and we'll talk about this more as we talk about different podcasts and different episodes. But again, Serena, I feel like, has a level of focus against Maria because of that Wimbledon. That Wimbledon where they played and Serena got upset by 17-year-old Maria. And I think that not only vaulted Maria over Serena at that time, because remember, Serena was the kind of the pseudo face of tennis, and they were looking for somebody else. She legitimized Maria Sharapova with that victory.
She did.
And Maria then became the face of tennis, and Serena was kind of secondary. And I don't believe Serena has ever forgiven herself for allowing her to take that Wimbledon from her.
Right. And I think in addition to her being upset about losing that match, I think she was also very upset with the market and the tennis community because she felt like she was she was the superior player, but all the marketing and advertising and endorsements and everything were going to Sharapova for I don't need to say.
We don't need to say, but
why.
Y'all know.
But she felt like, okay, if this is your poster girl, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do to your poster girl
every single
time we step on the court. And we can't forget the one little aspect about the shared history with Grigor Dimitrov, right? So
messy,
right? So there was even some personal relationship kind of drama there. So anyway, you're right.
Yes. So that'll be something, of course, we will expound upon in later podcasts and what have you. But again, she kicked off the Black Girl Magic segment. And then what we have to do is we have to go to our girl, Coco Gauff.
Yes.
I mean, once again, people, this is a 15-year-old African-American female. And mind you, not 15 going on 16. She just turned 15 in March.
Right.
So she's still 15.
Right.
I mean, again, same Coco Gauff that took out Venus Williams in the first round of Wimbledon. She comes to the U.S. Open, and she's like, you know what? I'm not done clowning.
No, right.
So I get in this first round with Potapova, who also is a youngster as well, not very old. I think she may be 19 or 20. But Potapova comes out there swinging on her, and it just just jumps onto the first set.
Right.
And what she do? She problem solves.
She did.
She's like, what do I need to do? What are the changes I need to make? She does them, and what? She gets the W. And then she goes into the second round match against Timea Babos, and she does the same thing. She just fights through and she figures out a way to win, and that was just so incredible. And then, of course, it sets her up to meet the number one player in the world,
Yes.
Miss Naomi Osaka. And we all knew that's going to be a tough match.
Right.
It's going to be a tough match. I mean, again, she just, she went in with the right mindset. She wanted to fight, but on the day, Naomi just had way too much game.
She did, and this I remember saying to you, Isaac, before the match even came on. Are we really sitting here contemplating that this 15-year-old is about to take out the number one player in the world? Let's bring our expectations down a little bit, right?
Exactly.
She was playing the juniors this time last year,
right?
And so beyond the match, we saw what happened.
Yes.
I think both you and I gained a whole new level of respect for Osaka, actually.
Oh my goodness.
After the match. I think most of you listeners saw how Osaka really comforted Coco after the match.
Right.
Looped her in the post-match on-court interview.
Even got emotional during the interview.
Yes.
Just talking about their experiences, the fact that they both had arrived, the fact that, her parents, Coco's parents, Corey and Candy? I think it's Candy.
Okay.
Yeah, Corey and Candy. Just how nice they were and just how well they're raising their daughter.
Right.
To give that type of just notification or I mean just
acknowledgement.
Just acknowledgement. Thank you. That was just special. I mean, and like I said, I was, I've talked to you about this. I was a little bit salty with Naomi because of the whole split with Sasha, because I love Sasha, and I thought that was a winning combination. So I was a little salty with Naomi. But after that gesture, I am 100% back on the Naomi Osaka bandwagon.
Right.
Naomi, that was class.
It was.
That's just all that you can say about that. That was class. And for you to do that and share that moment, it was just special. And also, Bryce, what really makes me so excited about Coco, she was upset after that match. I like that because she went in that match mentally like, I want to win this match.
Oh, of course,
I expect myself to win this match. That's the mindset of a champion.
Right.
And that's why I like that young lady. Because again, come on, you playing, like you said, you playing the juniors last year. You're now going against the number one player in the world, Arthur Ashe Stadium, and you went in expecting to win.
Right.
That is incredible.
Yep.
So good. So just that combination of matches, Bryce, was just. I mean, you talk about Black Girl Magic at its finest.
Yeah, at its finest, absolutely. And let's not mention Madison Keys.
Yeah, exactly. Because Madison's doing her thing. She's still in the draw. She's still my pick. And she's doing wonderful things. And also let's slightly migrate away. Now I want to say migrate away, but who I do want to mention is Katie McNally.
Yes.
Who is playing doubles with Coco Gauff.
Yes.
Katie McNally played Serena.
And
let me tell you what, Katie McNally put them things out there.
She did.
She gave Serena all she could handle. And she had Serena all flummoxed and just a little bit confused.
Right.
So Serena, to me, was very fortunate to make it out that match. But Katie McNally, she is one to look out for.
Look, Coco and Katie, that's going to be a power couple of the future.
Absolutely. And they're playing doubles together. They're still in the draw.
Right.
So we are hoping that they can continue to make magic and, hey, go and get the title.
And let's not just say they're still in it. Their first round doubles match was a big win against Gerges and Siniakova.
Who's top 5 in doubles in the world.
Yeah, well, she used to be the number one
player
just a couple months ago, right? So, anyway, Black Girl Magic going strong at the U.S. Open in 2019.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, we want to have a kind of in memoriam uh, section here.
Right?
And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because they didn't spend a whole lot of time at the Open. But we just want to acknowledge the people that came and went in the first round. And let's start with the ladies. There were 3 ladies that, just kind of made some guest appearances for us.
Yeah.
One was Muguruza.
Hey, Mugu. Ali Risk. Got up on it.
Got up on it. One was Angelique Kerber.
Yeah. Ah, Angelique, what's going on with you?
Right. Karma. And then Sloane Stevens. Now, although Sloane left, we want to bring up a very important thing.
Yes.
She has reunited with her coach, Kamar Murray, which was another situation kind of like Osaka. We were kind of like, why did that
happen? What's going on? That's just a proven, solid relationship there. And I love Kamal Murray. I love his fire. I just love everything that he's about. And in truth, I want to find Kamal Murray because he's another coach that I would love to talk to and have on our podcast. But that was also a relationship when they split. I was confused and I was a little salty.
Right.
So the fact that they are back together, hey, you talk about somebody who's happy.
Yeah, just don't talk to Monica Puig about that because apparently the word on the curb is that Kamal Murray must have got the phone call. Was like, I'm out.
He's like, peace.
And now, granted, we don't know what really happened, and I don't want to make light of that. But Kamal Murray was coaching Monica Puig up until a few days before the U.S. Open when he rejoined Sloane Stevens. And let me give you the real on this because the way we first became aware of this, we were, once again, in the food court.
That's right.
That'll be a common theme with us. You'll find us around the food.
Yes.
And I remember looking up on the screen and seeing, because Sloane's match was getting ready to start, and they showed her box, her player box, and Kamal Murray was in there. And I was just thinking, okay, well, maybe they just still have a good relationship. And she was like, oh, you can sit in my box tonight. And so that's what we thought until we later read the headlines that he was actually back in the camp.
Right, right. Again, very, very happy that they have reunited.
Yeah.
Again,
reunited.
And it feels so good. Yes. So just happy for them. Sloane, we know that you're about to get married. So again, do your thing. We're going to give you 2019 off to get married, get reestablished with Kamal, but we are expecting some wonderful and big things from you come 2020. So you go and you do your thing.
Right.
All right.
So let's talk about some of the guys that made a guest appearance.
Ooh, there was a few of them too.
Right. Yeah. So your boy
Hatchinov, and I think that was actually the match where I dipped out of Taylor's match.
Thank you.
I dipped out of Taylor's match to go see Karen play just a few points. And he was doing well against, I think he was playing Vasek Pospisil from Canada. And I was like, he'll be all right. And next thing I know, I look up and he didn't took the L. So that one was a bit surprising.
Right. And my flip story of that is, and although it may not go down officially as an upset but we were watching my guy.
Actually, no, that would go up. Let me be clear. Let's be clear.
We were watching my guy, Joe Wilfred Songa.
Yes.
And he gave Tennis Sangren a breadstick, and they were either on serve or he was slightly up in the second set, and we left to go support Taylor's match.
That's exactly right.
And next thing I know, there in the fifth set, and I hear that he loses. Our producer Chet was there at the match, and he said, your boy Songa is going to Disneyland. Going to Disney World.
And not to celebrate.
No.
So, yeah, that was kind of tight. That was tight.
Now, Tsitsipas did not make it out of the first round. Now, he had a very tough first round match with Rublev.
Yes, he did. And Rublev, like I said, was injured. He's coming back. He's another one of the next gen kids, along with Tsitsipas. So in my eyes, even though that comes out as an upset, it's not truly an upset for me. Only because Rublev was really on the top of the next gens before he got injured, and now he's making his way back. So the fact that he took out Tsitsipas, yes, it was surprising, and yes, I actually did think Tsitsipas was going to come out of that match. Right. But Rublev has been playing some great tennis. I mean, hell, he beat Federer in Cincinnati, so he's confident. And he came in there and he was like, ain't nobody scared of you. You
And,
my age.
right. The one thing that concerned me about that match, and I didn't know was a potential issue, was the fact that CC Paz cramped up
Yeah.
in that match.
Yeah.
And I just in general have had the impression that he was a fairly, healthy,
Fairly fit,
person,
Yeah.
right? So I don't, it could be a one-time thing, but if it's not, he needs to address that because the guy has too much talent to,
to be cramping up,
to be all Jack Sockish and not have this fit right. Jack, I love you, but anyway, we're gonna move on from that. Taylor French, who had been very hot this summer.
Yeah, that was surprising. I just, because Taylor has had some really great results of late, and so for him to be taken out by Feliciano Lopez was quite surprising to me. I know Feli Low got a good game, and he's got that lefty swing and everything, but I just did not think that he'd be able to get past Taylor Fritz.
No, and we had watched Fritz practice with Anacone, and he was looking really good.
Yes, he did.
But I guess, Feliciano was watching him practice too. And, he was like, surprise, bitch.
Surprise, bitch. Am I scared of you?
I'm not scared of you. So I'm going to let you talk about this next one because I know this is your boy.
Oh, my goodness.
FAA. Pavlov.
In that one, and I was there. I was at that match, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like FAA was feeling it. Right. Or and you know what? And maybe I shouldn't take away from Denis Shapovalov because Shapo played a great match. He came out there focused, and mind you, I don't think it was a grudge match, but I think it was one of those matches where FAA has been getting a lot of attention, and they've been calling him the next great thing and Canada's hope and blah blah blah. And I think Dennis was like, hold up. I came on the scene first. Y'all was giving me this love 2 years ago. Why y'all done now flipped over to Felix? Where's my love? And I honestly feel like he went out there with a little bit of a chip on the shoulder and was like, yeah, I'm gonna remind y'all who is the up and coming Canadian player.
Right.
And he put them things on him. And like I said, Felix just was not able to respond. Dennis was swinging, and Felix just unfortunately couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say one thing. Shout out to FAA's coaching staff. Y'all need to work on those double faults.
Oh my goodness.
Because he is not going to get to where he needs to be double faulting as much as he does.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. It's the one shot that's totally unaffected.
Completely
There's
unaffected.
no reason for a professional player not to have an effective serve. And what I mean, an effective serve means not just because you have a good first serve.
Right.
It means you have an effective second serve as well. And to have an effective second serve, it has to get in that little box. So just want to put that out there real quick.
That tends to be the guy. So yeah, disappointed about that, but at the same time, good on you, Denis Shapovalov, for doing your thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Fonini.
What is that? I mean, Riley Opelka was like, "Ain't nobody scared of you." He was
This
like,
ain't Clay.
This ain't Clay, and I'm not in the dog. You don't scare me. I'm 7 feet tall. Come get some of this serve.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that one. In fact, I believe that's the one I predicted the upset.
You did predict that.
I did.
Good on you.
I was like, I think Riley gonna put them things on Fabio, and that's what he did. So surprising, but good on you, Riley, and you keep up the good work.
Right.
Keep swinging.
Now I'll tell you who wish they were on Clay, and that would be Mr. Dominique Thiem.
Right. And see, we were questioning him playing that clay court tournament instead of being on the hard courts. And that's what happens, Dominique. When it's hard court season, you need to be on the hard courts.
Right.
Simply put. And that's why Fabiano was like, you know what? Anybody scared of you?
Right.
This is U.S. Open and we are on hard court.
Right.
So I'm putting things on you.
And you know what? And we want to mention just one more match, and all those. This definitely wasn't an upset, but one of the great and hard things about going to the first week of a Grand Slam, the great thing is you have so many good matches going on. The bad thing is sometimes a lot of those good matches are all going on at the same time. And a match that we did not get a chance to go watch that I really wish we had was Chris Eubanks.
Yes.
The African American upcoming male that we were telling you about. He's about 7 feet tall
He's
himself.
pretty
isn't he?
tall.
He's like
yeah.
6'9" or something like
yeah,
that.
he's a tall boy.
He went 5 sets with Garin.
Mm-hmm.
And Garin had, I think he's a little more of a clay court player, but he's had a good, first half of the year,
yes,
right?
he has.
But to go 5 sets with him, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, we met his brother Mark earlier, who's just such a nice guy.
Absolutely.
And we were hearing from some of the guys at Taylor's match how just good of a match that was. So we didn't get a chance to watch any of it, but we wanted to just acknowledge that he played a great first round match and that we are really looking for big things from Chris in the future.
Absolutely. He's got a lot to build on. So, Chris, you keep doing your thing, and Brothers on Tennis will definitely be behind you, supporting you all the way, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Isaac, let's move on to what are our predictions, for the rest of the tournament. And listeners, I'll just give you a little heads up. As we were kind of pulling together these predictions before the show, we're pretty proud to say they're pretty close to what we made at the very beginning of the tournament during the preview show. So either our picks were soft or we're really, really good at this. But what do you want to do? You want to start with the men or the women?
Let's start with the men.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I will start with the men because that's the one where I kind of made my errors.
Okay.
So I think we started at the semis again. Still predicting it's going to be a Novak-Fed semi.
Yes.
Still believe it's going to be Fed making it to the final, and I still believe it's going to be Fed who's going to win this.
I'm right there with you on all of that.
Yeah. So I think what we said in the preview show is still applicable on the men's side, men's top half, and who we're predicting to actually win. The bottom half, I think, was a little bit different because I think I had RBA versus Struff or something like that. Because I thought Struff was going to take out Nadal, but Struff unfortunately didn't even get to Nadal.
Right.
But Nadal was still in the tournament, and so good on you, Nadal. And on the other side, I don't know who I had. Yeah, no, I said RBA. But basically, who I think is going to make it there now. I honestly think Rublev is going to continue pushing. I think his game is solid. He took out Kyrgios last night, which was, I mean, he was just swinging, and he didn't give Kyrgios the opportunity to do a lot of his trick shots.
Right.
And in truth, I don't know that Kyrgios was really playing that true. If he was playing at 100%, I think it would have been a different result. But I don't think that he was, and I don't know why. But anyway, I think Rublev is got the confidence now. I think he's got the momentum. I believe he will make the semis against Nadal. I do feel like Nadal will put them things on him, though, in that semi.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a Fed Nadal, as you predicted. And I think that Fed will take the victory. Because, again, Fed is not scared of Nadal on hard court.
No.
He's just not. And I think that he will take him out.
Right. I'm not going to repeat everything you said because we basically have the same thing. I do have Rublev and Nadal on the bottom. I can't remember who I had in Rublev's spot before because I don't think it was Kyrgios for some reason.
I thought it was RBA as well.
I think
thought
it was
you
RBA.
and I did RBA.
Yeah, I think it was RBA as well. And
yeah.
RBA.
Who's Roberto Batista Agut for those listeners who don't know what RBA means? Roberto Batista Agut.
But I'm fully looking for a Fed Nadal final, and I'm looking for Fed to win.
Yes.
So what about the women?
Yeah. Now, for me, my draw actually goes pretty much unchanged. I had Osaka meeting Andreescu, and I had Keys meeting Serena Williams. I am going to stick with my predictions, not going with how I feel, because of course I still want Serena to win it.
Yes.
But my prediction was Andreescu would meet Keys in the final, and that she would succumb to the pressure at that point, and that Keys would finally win her first Grand Slam.
Okay, now this is where we differ probably quite a bit. Because, first of all, my first semifinalist I have is Bencic.
Right.
And I love it how last night Brad Gilbert reminded Osaka that she's never beaten Bencic before. Because Osaka was like, I don't think I've ever beaten her. He was like, nope, you haven't.
Nope, you haven't.
So I'm still holding that I think Bencic is going to take out Osaka.
Okay.
I do have her meeting Andreescu.
Okay.
And then in the bottom semifinal, I still have Pliskova.
Okay.
Making it to the semis against Serena.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now, I'm looking for the finals. I'm looking at Andreescu and Serena. And let me tell you why this is important.
Okay.
Because if the listeners will remember, in the Canadian Open, that was the final, and they did not get a chance to play.
That's right.
So I think that final is going to be replicated here at the U.S. Open, and we're going to see that. And Serena, she's going to put her back into it.
Yeah.
And she's going to take number 24.
All right. You know that's where my heart is. That's absolutely where my heart is. So I'm loving your prediction, brother. I'm absolutely loving it.
Right. So, listeners, pay attention. See if we live up to these predictions or not. And we will next week come back at you and either brag or face the music, right?
Or both.
Exactly. So, we want to kind of own up to something. I know last week we mentioned that we were going to record the Brothers on Tennis 101 episode this week. That's the episode where we kind of give you a breakdown on the basics of not only tennis, but the professional tour, and even some of the earthier terminology that Isaac and I will use on the podcast.
Yes.
To be just very honest with you, we have just had such a blast this week, being at the Open and meeting people and the whole nine. We just have not had an opportunity to record that. So we will record that when we get back to California next week.
Yes.
And we'll have that episode to you in about a week. So definitely look forward to that.
Yes.
So before we close out, any final words from you, Mr. Golden?
Just once again, just excited about the fact that we had a successful launch in my eyes. The fact that we were able to be on the grounds and really establish Brothers on Tennis. Again, just the discussions that we had with the patrons and hopefully our new podcast listeners. Spread that word, folks. We handed out the cards. Please do all that you can to help support us so that we can really build this brand and build ourselves out so that we can all be a nice, wonderful, big tennis family. So I'm just elated and excited about not only what we've encountered, but what is to come. So I'm excited, Bryce.
Right. And I just want to remind you, listeners, that we are on a variety of platforms: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, etc. But you can always use our website as a single point of contact to get to everything. So once again, that website is www.brothersontennus.com, and that is spelled BRUTHAS on tennis.com. So pray for us that we have a safe return back home in the next couple of days, and we will be looking to come back at you hard next week. Watch the tennis, enjoy, and we thank you once again for all of the tremendous support that we've received. So with that, this is your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Have a good one, y'all.